elections have officially been postponed, but based on the statement made by the President yesterday, there can be no election to postpone. What is happening in this beautiful island nation that we call home? We've got the details lined up for you tonight. Let's start off with a look at your headlines for this evening.
Local government elections postponed. New election date will be announced on the 3rd of March. It is the duty of the President to hold an election, and the result would reveal the position of the President's party, says former President Mahinda Rajapaksa. What will happen to the state employees who decided to contest the election? 57 people, including IUSF convener and student monks, remanded for trespassing. Minister Susil Premajayantha loses his cool over a comment made by MP Rohini.
Now taking a look at those stories in detail. Sri Lanka's Election Commission on Friday announced that the local government election that was fixed for the 9th of March will not go ahead as planned due to reasons beyond its control. A statement from the Election Commission noted that the date of the local government election will be announced on the 3rd of March.
Sri Lanka's Election Commission on Friday met in Colombo to reach a decision on the local government election and announced that it will not go ahead as planned. Chairman of the Election Commission, Attorney Nimal Puntriheva, issued a clarification over the matter. The statement noted that as per the powers vested with regard to holding the local government election, the Commission unanimously decided on the 8th of December 2022 to instruct the returning officers to issue the notice on the 26th of December 2022. He also noted that all 17 gazettes issued with regard to the local government election were released with the complete consent of the Election Commission. He noted that all measures taken with regard to holding the local government election were done in accordance to the laws.
ජනාධිපතිතුමා ඊ කිව්වා කල් දාන්න මැතිවරණයක් ඇත්තේ නැහැ සල්ලි තිබ්බත් මැතිවරණ තියන්නත් විදියක් නැහැ කියලා.
ඔය නෝතේ තියන්න එපා යුතුයකමක් නේ. මැතිවරණයක් දෙන්නේ ඉතින් සල්ලි නැත්තම් තියන්නත් බෑ තමයි. හැබැයි ඉතින් මං හිතන්නේ යුතුයකමක් වශයෙන් ඕනම වෙලාවක අපි මැතිවරණයකට සූදානම්.
දැන් ඔබතුමා අපි දකිනවා ඔබතුමාගේ කාලේදී ඔබතුමා කවදාවත් මැතිවරණ පස්සට දැම්මේ නැහැ.
ඔය ඉතින් අපි දිනන විත්‍ය දන්නේ හින්දා.
දැන් ඒ ආණ්ඩුව ඔබතුමා
මේ ආණ්ඩුව ෂුවර් නැති නයිද කියලා ඒකයි.
ඊ ප්‍රකාශයක් කරන්නේ මන්ත්‍රීවර ජනාධිපතිතුමා සල්ලි තිබ්බත් මැතිවරණයක් තියන්නේ නැහැ කියලා.
මන්ත්‍රීතුමා ඒකනේ ඒක වැරදි කියලා මැතිවරණයක් තියන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට එයාටත් දැනගන්න හැකි පක්ෂයේ තියෙන තත්ත්වය. ආණ්ඩුවේ දැන් ජනතාව හිතන විදිය හිතා ගන්න බොහොම ලේසියිනේ මැතිවරණයක ප්‍රතිඵලයක් නැත්තම් මොනවද කරන්න යන්නේ ප්‍රාදේශ සභා පළාත් සභා එහෙම නැත්නම් මේ මැතිවරණ වලට මිනිස්සු පත් කරන්නද මේ മന്ത്രിවරු ජනතා නියෝජිතයන් පත් වෙන්න ඕන
IMF එකේ ණය සම්බන්ධව ඔබතුමාගේ ඉදහස මොකක්ද
ඒක කොහෙන් ගන්නද
ඒක ලැබෙන්නේ
ඒක ඉතින් ආණ්ඩුවේ හැකියාව තියෙන්න ඕන ගන්නද
ඔබතුමා අගමැති විදියට පත් වෙනවයි කියලා ඒක සත්‍යතාවයක් කියනස
නෑ මං හිතන්නේ
ඔබතුමා දුන්නොත්
ඉරෝනේ අගමැතිවරයෙක් දැන් අගමැතිවරයෙක් ඉන්නවා ඉතින් ඒ ප්‍රශ්නේ පැන නගින්නේ නෑ ඔව් කරපුවේ වань
ඔතේ ධාතුන්ගේ වියස්ස සංසෝධන ඔබතුමාවත් බලගන්නුවේ නෑ දැන් මේ ධාතුන්ගේ වියස්ස සංසෝධනේ නැවත බලගැනීම ගැන පොඩි සාකච්ඡාවක් කරනවා මේ පිළිබඳව ඔබතුමාගේ අදහස මොකක්ද
ඒ අවශ්‍යතාවයක් නෑ කියන එකයි මම හිතන්නේ මේ ආණ්ඩුව හිතනවා ඒක අවශ්‍යයි කියලා අපි හිතනවා ඒක අවශ්‍ය නැහැ කියලා.
Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa made the following comments in Chundikuli, Jaffna.
This is an attempt to forcibly do away with the people's right to vote. At a time when an election must take place, the President is doing things as his personal wish. He said it is not the time for an election and he will decide on the time for the election. The President must bear in mind that he does not have the right to hold an election. That is not the law of the country. As per the Constitution, the President and everyone below must work, and if they don't, it is a violation of the Constitution. Everyone is aware of what happens when you violate the Constitution and act as you wish. Anurukumara Disanayaka, the leader of the Jatika Janabalawegaya, made the following comments.
Anyone in their proper mind will not accept the president's statement. He said an election has not been declared officially. That is false. If the election commission has not acted legally, he can go to court. The stance of the president is not the law of the country. On one hand, he comes to parliament and says the election is not legal. On the other hand, he sends a colonel to court to say that the election must be delayed due to the lack of funds. Ranil Wickremesinghe summoned the Treasury Secretary and told him not to release funds based on a circular. He summoned the government printer and told her not to print the ballot papers. Why did Ranil Wickremesinghe's party submit nominations? It is because an election will take place. Ranil Wickremesinghe said he would not get on to any election stage because of the election. However, in Parliament he says that there should be an election for one to be postponed. Therefore, we have a reasonable doubt to express concern if the president is insane. Is this a leader who has gone insane? The country's monetary powers are vested with the parliament. The president is bound to act as per the constitution, and the constitution is not something at his feet. He cannot violate the constitution. Even if all 225 MPs sign a letter and call for the elections to be delayed, Ranil Wickremesinghe does not have the right to do that. The power is vested with the election commission. Ranil Wickremesinghe must reveal the names of those from other parties who wanted the election to be delayed.
The Freedom People's Congress commented on the statement made by the President in Parliament.
The date for the election of a local government body is not announced by the Election Commission. It is announced by the returning officer of each district. If the President of the country says that he does not know about this or that this is not legal, there is no justifiable reason for the President to remain silent about it until now. Secondly, this President is the leader of the United National Party. When he made this statement, the chairman of the United National Party, Wajida Bewardena, was seated behind him. The United National Party has submitted nomination lists for hundreds of electorates in the country. They have placed deposits. The United National Party is contesting for the Colombo Municipal Council under the symbol of the elephant. This is, in layman's terms, a funny story. After what was said yesterday, there is no point in pointing the finger at any state official. He revealed to the country the mastermind behind this entire scheme. Now it is clear what the President, the Cabinet including the Prime Minister and the two parties who are in government really want.
Concerns were raised in Parliament over the fate of state employees who decided to contest the local government election as the election has now been postponed.
Around 3,100 state employees have taken a leave of absence for the local government election. They are on no pay leave. The President said there is no election. The state employees submitted nominations hoping the election will take place. Until when will this situation prevail? Provide some relief to the state employees when taking a decision on the local government election. They have lost their means of income. A similar situation arose before as well. The Cabinet then decided to recall them for service. I believe they should be allowed to return to service until the issue is solved. If not, they will have no pay. The Cabinet can reach a decision.
News First with the people.
57 suspects, including the convener of the Inter-University Students' Federation, Vasantha Mudalige, and several student monks, who were arrested for entering the premises of the Ministry of Education and staging a protest, were remanded until the 27th of this month.
57 suspects, including the convener of the Inter-University Students' Federation, Vasantha Mudalige, and several student monks, were produced at the Kadwela Magistrates Court on Friday evening. Acting Magistrate Sujiva Gunathilaka ordered for the suspects to be remanded until the 27th of February.
Over 200 police officers had come. There were 2 ASPs. There was even an SSP. All of them appeared and asked for the suspects to be placed under remand custody. In addition to the police, an additional Solicitor General from the Attorney General's Department also made submissions in court and asked the magistrate not to consider bail. We hope that the Chief Magistrate will take this matter up on the 27th of this month and give us a fair and just order.
අපි බලමු ආණ්ඩුව යුක්තිය මෙහෙමනම් දෙන්නේ රටේ ප්‍රශ්න වලට උත්තර දෙන්නේ නැත්නම් බලමුකෝ ඉස්සරහට මොකද වෙන්නේ කියලා.
Student activists and student monks entered the Education Ministry premises on Thursday evening, demanding that the Buddhist in Pali University of Sri Lanka be reopened immediately, and thereafter Sri Lanka police removed the protesters from the premises. Two representatives of teachers' unions who had visited the Education Ministry during the protest were arrested and released on police bail on Thursday night. Several teachers and principals' unions protesting opposite the Education Ministry noted that the arrest of its representatives who attended a special meeting cannot be taken lightly. The group requested for a meeting with the Education Minister. Thereafter, 15 representatives were permitted to meet the Education Minister. Newsfirst correspondent said the meeting was held for about 1 hour.
Officials who visited the Education Ministry for official duty were obstructed. The Education Minister and the Education Secretary said a committee comprising of 3 additional secretaries will be appointed to inquire into this. A time frame for this committee was also given. Statements will also be recorded and the report will be given to the police chief. We will file a fundamental rights application over the matter. We will take all possible legal action against the police. We will not fear suppression. If Ranil Wickramasinghe believes the use of police force can also be applied to teachers and principals, we will face it without fear.
The teachers' union representatives who were arrested on Thursday filed a complaint with the Human Rights Commission.
We condemn the attack carried out by the police. We view this as a violation of our fundamental rights. However, there were representatives on behalf of the teachers. Representatives from all the trade unions were present for the meeting. Police officers forced their way in and did not even listen to what the administrative officers had to say. They must be prepared to pay compensation. The minister promised for an investigation before the 1st of March. If the perpetrators are not penalized, the entire education system will be crippled by a strike action.
The arrest of 2 teachers' union representatives during Thursday's protest was taken up in Parliament on Friday.
Police officers under the influence entered the premises and assaulted them inhumanly and thereafter dragged them away like animals. What is the decision taken by the Education Minister regarding this? What will the minister in charge of the police do about this? Minister Tiran had promised Venerable Sumangala Thera that the police officers will be tested for intoxicants. Was an investigation carried out? What will happen to the public sector employees if this is how they are being treated? What is the oppression and the president's arrogance?
The director of the Teacher Transfer Board also made it clear to the police that he was working with the 2 officials. The police had carried out the attack despite such claims. The matters concerning 4.1 million children are conducted at the Ministry of Education. University matters are handled at Ward Place. They have come to this place by mistake. Where did those students monks jump from? They jumped from a 6-foot tall wall. What happened when they jumped? One of the Thero's robes got entangled on the wall and he ran away without his robe. Who is insulting Buddhism? The people of this country should understand this. What happened yesterday? This group entered the premises by force. A group of more than 50 people came up to the 3rd floor. While protesting, they damaged public property. I am not talking about it now as it is a matter before the court. At the time, the transfer board was gathered on the upper floor. Some people have recorded these incidents. 2 members of the transfer board were arrested after they went to question one of the people who recorded the incident. Soon after I received this information, after union leaders contacted me, I called the DIG and intervened, and they were released by 11 p.m. last night. I fulfilled my duty as the minister. They have attended the transfer board representing the trade unions. If I did not do so, what would have happened? The MP does not know that. Separate charges will be filed for trespassing and damaging public property. What will happen next? Another charge will be filed for interfering the duties of the police officers. If that happened, they will not be released on bail.
පොලිස් නිලධාරීන්ගේ රාජ්‍යකාරියට බාධා කළා කියලා තව චෝදනාවක් දාන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම දැම්ම නම් අපදෙන්නේ නැහනේ.
රාජකාරියේ හිටියේ අධ්‍යාපන අමාත්‍යාංශයේ
Those who attended the transfer board meeting were on duty under the secretary to the ministry. If there was a video made, the police have to get permission from the secretary to the ministry to go there. If those state officials had done something wrong, you can take action against them through the secretary to the ministry.
ලේකම්වරයා හරහා විනය පරීක්ෂණයක් කරන්න.
ඔබතුමිය එකඟද පළවෙනි සිදුවීමට?
නෑ මම එකඟ නෑ. ඒක වෙනම කතාවක්. නෑ මම ඒක ගැන නෙවෙයි මං කිව්වේ. මෙතන ගුරුවරු කියන පිරිස තමන්ගේ නම්බුව රැකගෙන ඉන්න පිරිසක් ඉන්නවා.
ඉන්න කටයුතු කළා.
මේ අමාත්‍යාංශ අනේ වාඩි වෙන්න ඔබතුමා කටවහගෙන. හරි ඔබතුමාත් හොඳ උගත් මිනිස්සෙක් නේ.
මේ ගෑණි
කටවහගෙන වාඩි වෙන්න.
ගරු කතානායකතුමනි එතුමියගේ ප්‍රශ්නෙට මම පිළිතුරු දුන්නා ඊයේ වෙච්ච සිද්ධියට. පොඩක් ඉන්න. ඔබතුමියට ඔච්චර කාලය දීලා ගහගන්න බැරි වුණාද? මේ ගරු මන්ත්‍රීතුමිය මේ ස්ථාවරණිය උගන්වුවා අපි වැඩ කරමු.
Parliamentarian Rohini Kaviratne filed a complaint with police headquarters regarding the situation that representatives of teachers associations had to face.
උදේවරුේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේත් මේ ගැන අපි
We spoke about this in Parliament this morning. When we spoke about this, the Minister evaded the question. He also made some inappropriate comments. When the Minister in charge of education makes statements like that, one can imagine the plight of the education sector in Sri Lanka.
පොලිස්පතිතුමා පොරොන්දුනා ලබන සඳුදා වෙනකොට මේ පිළිබඳව පරීක්ෂණයක් පවත්වලා ඒ පිළිබඳව ඔහුගේ නිගමනය අපට ලබා දෙනවා කියලායි.
The decision taken to appoint parliamentarian Mayantha Disanayake as the chairman of the Committee on Public Finance, disregarding the nomination of parliamentarian Harsha De Silva for that post, was debated in Parliament today. Mayantha Disanayake's name for the position of chairman of the Committee on Public Finance was proposed not by the opposition but by the government.
Although section 121 is there is an intention there. That is what is important. We speak about intention in our religion as well. The intention here is for the nominee of the opposition to be appointed. This is a violation of the parliamentary privileges. You have intentionally violated the standing orders. You always destroy the good name of this parliament. When the opposition nominates someone, the tradition should be to accept it. You had personally called Mayantha Disanayake over the phone and asked him if he is willing to take up the post. How can you do that?
ඔබතුමා කැමතිද කියලා? ඒ කොහොමද? එතුමා ඉල්ලි නෑ එතුමා මට කිව්වා. මට කතා කරේ. නෑ එතුමා මට
He called me and told me when we asked him about it. We can question him. This looks bad on the country, internationally as well. Don't do this at a time like this.
එහෙම කරගන්න බෑ මේ වගේ අවස්ථාවකදී.
ඇත්තටම මේක කළ යුතු තිබුණේ විපක්ෂයේ යම් එකගතාවයක් සහිත.
The desired outcome from this standing order is to appoint a person by mutual consent. Therefore, I believe that what is appropriate is for the MP who was put forward by your party to resign. When the government nominates a member from the opposition, there is a presumption that he is aligned with the government. Then the requirement for the MP to be from the opposition that is mentioned in the standing orders becomes null. Therefore, Mayantha Disanayake should rethink on if he will continue to remain in that position based on a technicality. My opinion is that he should not hold that position by virtue of a simple technicality. MP Harsha De Silva held this position in Parliament for a short time, but when he held this position, the smugglers of the government had to face serious issues. That is what we can see as a reason for this conspiracy. First, say that Mayantha Disanayake is not a member of the opposition. The standing orders clearly state that the position must be given to an opposition MP. The position has been given to an opposition MP. You need to solve issues in your faction first.
Convener of the United Citizens Alliance, Chamira Pereira, addressed the media and made the following comments.
The opposition leader must respond to this. Harsha De Silva was kicked out and Mayantha Dissanayake, who can't even speak 10 words, was made the chairman. What is the opposition and the opposition leader doing? Why can't the opposition leader remove him? Can't he tell not to take up the post? Why can't he do that?
The petitions filed by 10 petitioners who allege that their fundamental rights were violated while they were expressing dissent in front of Parliament on the 4th of May 2022 was dismissed today. The petitions were taken up at the Supreme Court today. State Counsel Shaminder Vikrama submitted that the petitioners had broken the law by obstructing members of Parliament travelling in their vehicles and breached parliamentary privileges. Chief Justice Chayantha Jayasuriya and Justices Shiran Gunaratna and Janak De Silva considered the materials, videos played and submissions made by counsel and unanimously held that leave to proceed would not be granted, and subsequently the petitions were dismissed. The distribution of China-aided school uniform materials commenced on Thursday in Colombo.
The first 3 million meters were dispatched to the northern, eastern, north central and Ua provinces in Sri Lanka during an event attended by Education Minister Susil Premajayantha and the Chinese ambassador to Sri Lanka. The minister and the ambassador were noted carefully inspecting the school uniform materials donated by China before the dispatchment to different provinces of Sri Lanka. A total of 3,420,714 students across Sri Lanka, regardless of their gender, ethnicity or religious belief, will get the China-aid school uniforms for the coming school year 2023. The second batch of the donation, comprising of 6 million meters, had left China in 44 shipping containers and will arrive in Sri Lanka next week.
Gammadda on Friday delivered school books and supplies to students at the Shalverton Tamil School, which is located in Hatton in the Nuwara district.
The 91 students who are enrolled at the Claverton Tamil School in Hatton engaged in their academic activities amidst many difficulties. Their parents are tea pluckers, and the meagre daily wage they earn is used to purchase school books for these children, despite families struggling to cope with the worsening economic crisis. Gammadda identified this issue and decided to step in and bring some form of relief for them. Gammadda, together with IPAX IT Consulting Private Limited, delivered school books and supplies to the students at the Claverton Tamil School.
On behalf of the Executive Director Board, our international partners and our staff, I thank Gammadda for organizing this event and giving us the opportunity to meet with you. As a private company, our objective is to somehow render our maximum support to uplift the education of these children.
Gammadda believes that with today's delivery, the students at Claverton Tamil School will be able to engage in their academic activities with ease.
China, the world's largest bilateral creditor, urged G20 nations to conduct a fair, objective and in-depth analysis of the cause of global debt issues and to resolve the problem in a comprehensive and effective manner.
The first G20 finance ministers and central bank governors meeting began in Bangalore on Friday with opening remarks of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Indian Prime Minister Modi urged the G20 finance ministers and central bank governors and the delegates to focus their discussions on the most vulnerable citizens of the world and win back the confidence of the world through creation of an inclusive agenda.
We are also witnessing rising geopolitical tensions in different parts of the world. There are disruptions in global supply chains. Many societies are suffering due to rising prices, and food and energy security have become major concerns across the world. Even the financial viability of many countries is threatened by unsustainable debt levels. Trust in international financial institutions has eroded. This is partly because they have been slow to reform themselves. It is now up to you, the custodians of the leading economies and monetary systems of the world, to bring back stability, confidence and growth to the global economy.
China's finance minister joined a meeting of the bloc's finance ministers and the central bank chiefs in Bangalore, India, via video link, putting pay to speculation that he could meet US Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen on the sidelines of the gathering. According to a statement released by his ministry, he said that international financial institutions and commercial creditors should follow the principle of joint action and fair burden in debt settlements. China has been consistent in criticizing multilateral lenders for not taking haircuts on loans extended to debtor countries while being asked to do so on credit it has extended bilaterally. US Secretary of Treasury Janet Yellen said the group of 20 countries need to work together to ease the debt overhang that is holding back too many countries, including Sri Lanka.
First, we need to work together to ease the debt overhang that is holding back too many countries. The IMF estimates that around 55% of low-income countries are close to or in debt distress. I will continue to push for all bilateral official creditors, including China, to participate in meaningful debt treatments for developing countries and emerging markets in distress. Most urgent is the need to provide debt treatment to Zambia and to commit to specific and credible financing assurances for Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is also a country of concern where China plays a significant role and needs to come to the table. The conversations that I've had with my Chinese counterparts have been constructive, and I'm hopeful that we will see progress in China in the coming months, but it is very important.
Sri Lanka abstained from voting for a UN General Assembly motion put forward by Germany calling for peace in Ukraine as soon as possible. UN General Assembly members on Thursday voted in favor of the motion condemning Russia over its invasion of Ukraine and calling for Moscow's immediate withdrawal and an end to the fighting.
Sri Lanka was among the 32 countries that abstained from voting for the motion, which includes China, India, South Africa, Pakistan and much of Africa and Central Asia. 141 countries voiced support for the resolution. Russia, Belarus, North Korea, Syria, Mali, Eritrea and Nicaragua opposed the motion. As well as calling on parties to the conflict and the international community to seek to broker peace, the resolution also calls for Russia to withdraw from Ukraine's territory. The document reaffirms its commitment to the sovereignty, independence, unity and territorial integrity. Vigils have been held across the world to mark the one-year anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Candlelit vigils were held in New York and Paris, and the Eiffel Tower was lit up in the colors of the Ukrainian flag.
Tonight on Sri Lankan Sky Warriors, we take a look at the air transport services rendered by the Sri Lanka Air Force.
Sri Lankan Sky Warriors.
The number 2 Heavy Transport Squadron of the Sri Lanka Air Force is one of the oldest squadrons in the Air Force and plays a vital role in the Air Force operations. This squadron boasts of a 150-man strong unit that includes 25 officers and 16 pilots. The number 2 Heavy Transport Squadron is ready to take off at a moment's notice. The current fleet of the number 2 Heavy Transport Squadron consists of Antonov 32Bs and Hercules C-130s. The Antonov 32B stationed at the Katnayake Air Force Station right next to the Katnayake International Airport is ready for takeoff. A group of skydivers who board the flight will kiss the skies after takeoff. The number 2 Heavy Transport Squadron of the Sri Lanka Air Force is responsible for the movement of goods, overseas missions, air transports and a number of other key roles. During the humanitarian mission, Sri Lanka forces lost access to the A9 road, which was the main supply route, and from 1990 to 2009, it was the number 2 Heavy Transport Squadron of the Sri Lanka Air Force that delivered all the goods required by the forces. The number 2 squadron was awarded with President's Colours in the year 2009 in recognition of its long years of dedicated service to the nation.
Sri Lankan Sky Warriors.
History was made at the Sri Lanka Tennis Association's courts on Sir Marcus Fernando in Colombo this week, where the very first women's tennis team ever to represent Saudi Arabia at an international tournament competed in an event of the International Tennis Federation. The 4-member team is competing at the Billie Jean King Cup Asia Oceania Junior pre-qualifiers.
This year's Billie Jean King Cup Juniors was a bit more special than any other year. There was a significant new entry in the girls category. Team Saudi Arabia, the 4-member team, has been quite impressive and face another series of matches tomorrow.
We are so proud to be here. You know, those girls did an amazing job. We just got a good win against Bangladesh, 2-1. The girls outdid themselves. We are just so proud of them, and you know, I cannot wait to see what the future holds for them.
My name's Naya Farouqi, and I am so proud to be representing my country in the Billie Jean Cup. And it's been a great experience, and for us to be the first female Saudi team to travel abroad, it's been an amazing experience, and I'm so honored to be part of this experience.
I'm Dania Al-Zuhair, and I play for Saudi, and I'm very proud to be the first female under 16 playing in the Billie Jean King Cup, and I'm very honored.
Saudi Arabia, a country known for its repressive laws and regulations on women, appears to be reforming in its sports and has allowed its girls tennis team to play internationally. The tennis team's participation in Colombo follows reforms that have opened up opportunities in sports for Saudi women. The team members were extremely optimistic about the future of the sport and spoke strongly for its advancement in the international arena.
Our fight's not over yet. Tomorrow we're playing for place 9 and 10, which is good for our first time entering a competition. Hopefully the sport can grow in Saudi Arabia. I'm starting to see it growing a lot. Hopefully it can increase and more girls can go out internationally, and hopefully we'll have more categories, because this time we only have under 16. Hopefully maybe next year we can have under 14s come out with us.
The team representing Saudi Arabia is certainly working extra hard to prove a point.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News on TV1 for tonight. To follow details of these stories and much more, you can log on to our website www.newsfirst.lk. I'm Charlotte Benedict for the Newsfirst team. Take care. God bless.